Welcome to the Depth Perception Podcast.
We go in depth about the perceptions and misconceptions of optometry,
which includes the business of optometry,
social issues within optometry,
and life as an optometry student.
Coming straight from Dr. Jasdeep Singh Soni,
Dr. Nadia Afghami,
Dr. Douglas Akiti,
and Svetlana Nunez. We hope you enjoy this episode.
Here on Memorial Day weekend, we got the Depth Perception Podcast, and we got a special guest, Dr. Kristie Nguyen. Yeah.
Hey
guys.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming through. You know, we love to have guests, and you're one that we have been wanting to have for a minute. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for coming through. We really appreciate you. This is going to be an amazing
I've been
episode.
waiting for the invite. I was like, man, they are interviewing everybody, but they haven't asked me. And then I was like, finally in my inbox, I get an invite. I was like, about time, guys, about time.
Well, thank you for being a fan. That means you keep up with us.
Yes.
So we're happy to have you.
We love that.
I think JD's running the pod. No? Today?
We're all running the pod.
Okay.
So, I mean, we
All
want
right.
to talk to you about LinkedIn because you're just crushing it there. Obviously, you're crushing it everywhere, right?
Yes.
But you're like the KOL, the person on LinkedIn that's always popping up. Like, we'd love to see if there's some way we can give, like everybody in optometry tips about how we can get to your level or learn from you.
It's literally the same thing as what you're doing on any other platform. If you're consistently posting, you're going to get the same return. So for me, I just choose LinkedIn versus Instagram or Facebook or TikTok. I just don't post as often. I don't engage as much on the other platform because it's just too much for me. So I pick one that I do the most and the other ones I kind of do a little bit. So of course you can see where the growth is. It's where I put the most investment of my time. And that's just,
So the question is why? Like, why do you choose LinkedIn as opposed to Instagram, as opposed to TikTok? Like, why do you choose that as your outlet and your platform to like go into?
yeah. So like a few years ago when I decided to promote myself on social media and do my personal branding, I was like, well, which platform should I focus on? And I was like, well, LinkedIn is professional. I'm trying to just really promote a business here. Business to business, LinkedIn is the place to be. And people already on there looking for things to learn from, to invest in, to grow. So why not use that? And I'm looking at Instagram and TikTok. I'm like, I don't want to dance. I'm not that good of a singer. I can barely dance. And so, I mean, I would have to put a lot more effort into these other younger millennial platforms than I could do as somebody who's older. LinkedIn is just much easier. It's like a Facebook.
Yeah. So it's crazy because you make people care about you, though, which is a conversation that I was having at Transitions because we missed you this year. So we were like, oh, Kristie's killing it. We're talking about how like LinkedIn is such a powerful tool, but a lot of people don't utilize it, which is weird because a lot of people care about you on the platform.
We don't even utilize it. So
like how
you just sent me a friend request the other day, Nadia.
I know, because I'm never on. And I was like, man, I should go on and see what Kristie's up to because I never go on, right? So we were like, wow, Kristie's posting the same things on LinkedIn as like an Instagram post, but you have all these people who are like, you look great. Like, look at your sunglasses, So like, how did you like build your following and how did you feel like you got these people to really care about you in a way and like engage in your content?
Literally was not even posting about eye stuff when I started. I was posting mostly about skincare.
We did
for a second. I was just doing it consistently, just putting positive energy out there. So, I mean, when you're consistently sharing.
I was like, yo, she's thinking deep. She's thinking deep about this question.
Kristie, we lost you for a second. So let's run that again.
Yeah, everybody froze. I was like, oh no, what happened? So basically, it's okay. I thought it was you guys. I didn't even think it was me. So basically, I just said that, I was sharing mostly about skincare. I wasn't even sharing about eye care, but I was just doing it consistently and putting out positive energy. And I think when you're putting yourself out there and you're being vulnerable, people can relate to you. And you can't just be picture perfect all the time because that's not how reality is. I feel like the posts I do the best on are the ones that I say, hey, I was struggling with this, or I can't believe this happened. And they're like, oh, what happened? I was like, oh, no, I was just putting my pep talk out for myself. I wasn't really going through something. I was making sure that I don't go through it by putting this pep talk out. But it was something people can relate to. And I get a lot of people who would inbox me later and say, oh my gosh, thank you so much for sharing that message. That really hit me deep today because I was going through something and that message really, really pushed me to just move forward, take the next step. So I'm like, okay. So sometimes it helps me, but a lot of time it helps other people too.
You have a good mix of videos, posts, photos. But I'll let SB ask her question here.
No, go ahead, JD. Go ahead.
I mean, so like, how do you even keep up with like on a day-to-day level of like posting this often, consistently? I know you mentioned consistently, and then how do you diversify when you're saying like, should I do a photo today or a video or like a caption or being vulnerable? Like, how do you go about that actual process?
Well, it literally is just whatever I feel. So I'm one of those people that unless I feel the vibe of whatever I want to post, I don't put it out. So you may see me skip some posts, some days of posting because I didn't feel inspired. So whatever I put out that day is what was inspiring me that day. So a lot of times it's whatever inspired me that day before that 10 minutes before I start clinic. So I literally only have the time being a mom and a wife and all this other stuff. I only have a little short time between my short commute to work. I brainstorm in the car. I get to work with a couple minutes before clinic actually starts, before I leave and get into the office. And I say, I got to put this content together. If I'm able to record something and that inspired me, that's what it is. If not, if I do a picture. But a lot of times it's like I scroll through and use old photos because I don't always have time to take pictures because I actually am very conscious about taking pictures in public. So I do it really fast before people see me. And if people are watching, I try to wait till they move out of the way and they're not watching me. And then I take a quick picture and then that's it. And I hope that it's a decent picture for me to repurpose later. So, I mean, I know it's like, for me, it's like super embarrassing to do that, but I don't know. Some people are really confident doing it in public. I don't like it. Like I'm just one of those people. And so again, if I don't feel it, I'm not going to put it out. So whatever you're getting is what I was inspired that morning to put out to share. Sometimes if I had time, I try to put things together, but that usually never happens. So you get what I put out. So I know a lot of people, I tell people put together like whatever content you want and make it consistent. But for me, it's whatever I feel inspired to share that moment, that time. So I don't have things lined up. I don't pre-schedule a lot of my posts because I want to make sure that I feel that energy before I put it out there.
It's crazy
You
because,
know,
like, sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's crazy because, like, I mean, we're saying the same thing right now. But Christy, for me, I'm gonna say it's crazy because I would never think that you would feel that type of way. I mean, I feel like you're a very like outspoken, very bold type of person. I remember meeting you at Transitions Academy and just seeing like the hair and like, the colors, to have different colors, to have a different vibe like that, that's not something that everyone really does. So it's really kind of interesting and funny that you say like you're subconscious of, taking pictures in public and like posting
You
and
know why
doing
I do
things
the
like that.
hair, right? Let
Well,
me tell you the
tell us
story
about
about the
it.
hair. Okay,
Yeah.
so I share with people how to personally brand themselves. You have to pick something about yourself that you want to make memorable for people. So as I'm getting older, I start noticing gray hairs and it shows against the dark hair. So what did I start doing? I started coloring my hair, but I didn't want to be the color that everybody else have. I want to be different. So I always have at least 3 or more colors in my hair. So depending on how it falls that day or how I style it, you would see different colors. And it's a great
That's
conversation
crazy.
starter. I don't have to
Yes.
come up to you. People come up to me and ask me all the time, I love your hair. Are you a hairstylist? No, I'm not. What do you do? I'm an eye doctor.
Yeah.
Whoa. So I did that just the other day, picking up some crawfish. And the lady thought I was a hairdresser. I said, no, I did this
Yes.
myself. And I'm an eye doctor. She go, oh, I need a new eye doctor. Guess what? I end up giving her my office number so she can call and make an appointment. But it's a way for you. If you're an introvert, which I am, it doesn't seem that way, but I make my extrovert personality come out only when I know I'm attending an event because you have to talk to people for them to know you. But I'm not going to be the first person to come up to talk to you. So if you notice, I don't always come up and say hi. I may wave, but it takes me a while to wave. And then I have to go. It's like a mindset shift.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
But now
Nadi, what
people
were you gonna
recognize
say?
me, but people recognize me in my hair. So
Absolutely.
I was going to say that it's crazy because I don't really think of LinkedIn as like a social media platform, like normally we use LinkedIn for like, oh, I'm looking for a job or I'm doing this and that. So I'm just
the
curious
mode.
because like in my head, like
Yeah.
I don't think of like LinkedIn, like I don't think like, oh, let me post about date night on my LinkedIn or like, let me not, so like talk to us about it. Cause it's
So
interesting, right?
you do want to share things about you, but you don't want to share too personal things about you. Because again, it is LinkedIn. How can you relate it to a professional segue. So you can share whatever you want personally, but there has to be a professional segue into it. Otherwise, it's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and not LinkedIn appropriate. So again, for me, sharing eyewear is very easy because that for me is like a mind shift thing, because I have to be in a very bold attitude to portray some of the eyewear that I share, because it's not the meek Kristie, it's the bold Kristie that they want to see behind the eyewear. So a lot of times it's just a inspirational quote that I attack on there that help motivates people when they see that image, that feel empowered to wear that eyewear, because the eyewear now gives the confidence that they may not have. But if they wear the eyewear, they will have the confidence that I'm having portrayed through the pictures.
Okay. Yeah.
You again, just like how you share things on other platforms, how are you making it relatable to the audience that you're trying to promote the product or the service to? How can you make them look at it and say, I want to be a rep for that brand. And then they reach out and they say, I want to be a rep. I say, then I reach back up to the brand and say, this person wants to be a rep. What is my commission for connecting you to this person if they end up being your rep? It's still a way for you to collaborate, but you just have to think outside the box of what you're doing. It's similar to what you're doing already on Instagram, but it's just a different spin on it.
Yeah, it's just so hard to like wrap my head around, because I've never thought of like LinkedIn as like this kind of platform. Like I will share my achievements maybe, but I don't feel like, let me post a picture. So it's crazy that you've been able to curate something so big and so amazing and this brand for yourself, but just on a platform that we don't normally use. Do you think that's why people like gravitate? Because there's not a lot of people like maybe on there
Exactly. Yes.
posting.
And that's the thing. A lot of people have this differentiation between the different platforms. I was like, well, if you keep your stuff as pretty general, you can literally use the same post on all your platforms. That's what I do. It's the same post, but just share on different platforms. Maybe I'll change some wording or leave some stuff out. I shorten it for Instagram, shorten it even more for like Facebook, but really lengthen it out for LinkedIn, because that's just that audience. So you can still use the same, main product, but just the verbiage is different. Maybe on some days when I don't have the same verbiage, but again, but you're setting yourself that limit. No one else set that limit for you. You're just saying, I don't want to post because I feel this. Well, don't. Just whatever you post on Instagram, post it on, if it's appropriate, post it back onto LinkedIn. But what I find is LinkedIn, they prefer like more of you talking things through than just doing like a skit. So whatever you're doing skits, it doesn't perform as well, because I've tried those. Because I don't care. I don't post for people. I post for myself. And they say that's so bad. But like I said, I'm not out here to impress anybody. I'm not trying to grow like a ton of followers. If they follow me, they can relate to what I'm trying to put out there. But I post what I feel like they should learn, not what they want to learn from me. So I think because I think that way and I don't feel a pressure to fit a certain molding, then I think that's why it works for me.
Well, you got 37,000 followers, so
Yeah.
I think it's too late for people not to follow you.
How did people find you on there? Like, how did you get this many people following you?
It's just little by little, like people just
Like
I don't know.
hashtags, like what are we doing?
I'm not doing hashtags. So I think at first I was just following different people that was in the eye care industry. And then from there, people in the eye care industry, whoever they're connected to, start following me. Because believe it or not, as bad as we are as a community, we do not support each other. And it makes me so frustrated for to be putting all this stuff out on LinkedIn, and most of our colleagues don't like my posts or even respond to my posts. And I'm like, guys, I'm sharing about optometry stuff or whatever, but there's no camaraderie. I get more support from every other fields of people than optometry. I unconnect to a lot of optometrists because they don't use LinkedIn. Like we were connected for since 2017. I've been sending messages every single year to congratulate them on different things. Crickets. So I'm like, it is what it is. But the right people will find you. A lot of time is whoever we're connected to is not even the first connectors. It's the second and third connectors that end up start following you because they see your content, because that's just how LinkedIn works. I mean, that's how any of this platform work. If you post something out there and you're consistent, LinkedIn will keep pushing your posts up. So if your post is constantly the first thing people see when they open up their LinkedIn, then of course, then their followers going to start seeing it. then if they make a comment, now their followers are going to see it. So it just is a trickling effect. So
I think something that I wanted to highlight when you were talking earlier is that you have all these LinkedIn following and you're posting content daily, but you just shared that you're not really planning. Like, it doesn't take that much planning or
it
thinking
doesn't.
to do. You said you do it on your commute, you get to work a few minutes early, and you just record and then you
Yes.
post. And I think that's something really good to highlight, because when someone looks at your account, you're like, oh, she has everything planned out, maybe, or she's spending a lot of time doing this. So what would be your advice for somebody that wants to get started on LinkedIn, especially like what Nadia was saying, like we don't really think about LinkedIn as a platform to post our optometry thing. So if someone just wants to start posting, what other
You could
advice?
even share something as simple as just a quote that somebody already shared online, like a picture of a quote, and just put that out and add a little bit of snippet why you share that quote. But if you keep posting, then they're going to say, well, Dr. Nunes loves to post about positive quotes that inspires me on self-motivation. I'm going to start following her for those. So it only takes one thing that you're putting that they like, then they start following you for it. And then if you add other stuff in there, so I start adding eye stuff out there. I'm like, well, they need to learn to get their eyes checked. I know I keep preaching it, but that they need to wear sunglasses too. So yeah, just keep mixing that in. But I don't do too much eye stuff because we may find it interesting, but they may not find it interesting. So I do maybe 1 or 2 eye posts a week, but everything else is more just fun posts because they're also looking
Interesting.
for fun things. They're not always looking for work. Not everybody's always looking for work. Sometimes they're just looking for inspiration or motivation. Cause like this one, like traveling optician, she just reached out and said, you know what, whatever you put out today, it really hit me because I was hesitant about getting started. And then your post totally pushed me to go ahead and just do it. I was like, oh, I didn't even realize you were following me because we weren't connected. She was following me, but I wasn't following her. But we had mutual connections. She was like second tier out. But that just goes to show that people are watching, but they're not always liking because she never liked any of my posts. She's never commented on any of my posts, but she sent me that personal message that day thanking me for what I posted that day.
So
Or
that's
kind of,
very interesting. I think you highlighted on something that I kind of want to delve deeper into. You said you don't really post about eye care that much because, as an optometrist, you would think that, especially on LinkedIn, you would think that you have to like really post about, you know, optometry and eye care and like things you're doing in clinic or whatever. I think that's probably why we're just like, yeah, how does LinkedIn work? Because we're over here, we don't really post like that at all. So what made you decide to kind of go that route and just like go into, hey, I'll just post motivational things?
well, remember I told you I started posting first about skincare. It wasn't even for eye care. So I didn't know I couldn't post about skincare all the time. So posted positive things because what I was taught when to do personal branding, you want to have like 3 things that you want to be consistently known for when you put content out. So what would those things be? Positivity for me is super easy because I generally am a positive person unless you like really get on my nerve, but that's very rare. But I'm generally a positive person and pretty upbeat. So if I can share that with other people, they will also feel inspired to have that positive energy in their lives. And for me, there's just too much negativity out there. So when I share positive stuff, it really resonates with people and they really are attracted to that. Then they know that I also like to travel and to have different clothing all the time. So I share that. That's a part of me. So you just want to share parts of yourself that you can try to relate into every single post that you put out there because now they know that you have a consistent brand image. So
No, it's obvious. You picked a good platform that's working for you. It's funny that you're saying that eye care is not really what maybe snowballed it, but you happen to be an eye doctor and you're talking about stuff that is important to you, and then the energy is translating and people are resonating with it, which is something that I'm taking notes about, to be genuine. And we even see them with political candidates, right? Like some candidates will jump on podcasts and be genuine, whereas other candidates don't take off because they don't seem genuine, right? So it's like that's what humans want. They want someone who's being genuine. So I think it's just a good reminder for all of us. Can you talk about some other benefits about like the experience for you and journey on LinkedIn? Like I'm looking at your profile
of
and I see you
course,
work with like Barty, I see you work with Alcon, I see you work with Ryan ADA or Exxon or all these companies, right? Like, can you talk
yes.
about some tangible things that have come from
Of
it?
course. Yeah. So like I said, I was posting for maybe 3 or 4 years prior to when COVID hit. And once COVID hit, guess where everybody turned to? social media. The biggest is social, but LinkedIn, because people were out of the office, they were home online. Then, like literally overnight, I had people contacting me to be on their podcast, to share what I was doing, to work for their companies to help promote their products because they couldn't get reps into the office. So that's how it started. And as I'm sharing who I'm working with and products I promote, then more people start reaching out and saying, hey, can you promote this product? Can you promote that product? So I was like, here's my fee schedule. Are we in alignment? And then we start working. So you can't always do things for free. A lot of them will try to just send you products, but you're like, well, this is how much my post costs. So, I had to reach out to different people and say, hey, how much do you charge per post? So then I would send them like what it costs if I worked with them. And, if I went in and promote, like, let's say, like if they had a debut or something, I did that for Zeiss a couple years back. I was like, well, would you pay for my trip out? Are you going to cover my day fee plus the post I put out? Like, how is this going to work? Like, you have to put all that in writing, so that where there's no confusion on either party. And, the big companies can pay, the little ones can't. So then you start negotiating.
I want to
Yeah.
know. I
So
want to know the numbers.
yeah,
I want to
let's
know.
our subscribers got to go on to and really hear the numbers part. We can't talk about it here on the basic side, but
Yeah,
we
but
got to do that for the.
I don't keep track and record, but I could just tell you, like I said, I can tell you what my rates are. I have that in a spreadsheet that I just share. But yeah, but they have to understand there is a cost for my service. It's not free. And that's how you utilize the platform. So
That's
you
right.
use Instagram for one platform. Yeah, you still didn't pay. You can get paid for TikTok. I get paid on Facebook with ads that throw in all my stuff. So why not get paid on LinkedIn? I mean, for me, it's more
That's
of a
right.
long term. I try to work more long term with these companies because I said, you know what, I could put a post out for you, but it's just a post. It may reach some people that day, but I may miss more people long term. But if we work together and we kind of build this over time, you would definitely see more growth as more people learn about it the slow way versus like slam it in their face one time and expecting them to see it on that one day. That what if somebody didn't check their social media that day? Like they would totally miss your ad. So the
Yeah.
more people try to control what I say, the less interaction they get because it's too scripted. So I say, if you let me go do what I do, obviously that's why you reach out to me, then you probably get more views. But if you try to script what I'm saying, and I tell them ahead of time, you're scripting what I'm saying, you're probably going to get half the view or less because this is not me and my audience can tell. And it happens all the time, but some companies, they have their guides and rules and stuff. And I said, it is what it is. I try to tell them it's gonna flop, but
So
that's
I
not
think
far,
me.
that's
so far with your LinkedIn following, what has been your favorite opportunity that has been brought to you that you don't think would have happened if you weren't posting on social media on LinkedIn?
It literally is all of them. I mean, like Kazuku Lunettes, I've been with them from the very beginning and I'm still with them promoting their bold Asian fit, universal fit eyewear. Ryan Atta is new, but it's been a great journey trying to figure out this tariff stuff in between. It's crazy. So, I mean, there's just so many. I mean, Barty's great because now I get like this EHR that I pay for at a discounted rate, but I'm still making, you know, money on posts on a monthly basis to pay off this EHR, but get to use it and share with my colleagues. I
Barty.
used to
Come
be
talk to
huge
us
on,
again, Barty.
I used to love Rev, but then when I started working with Barty, I was like, okay, no, this is good. But here's the story with Barty. Like they approached me when they first came out and I said, show me your stuff. And they showed it. And I was like, you're not where I need you yet. Not yet. Yeah. So I don't
Really?
just say yes to everybody. I say yes if our goals align and if I love and I can represent your product. I don't just represent people just because they're paying me. They came back year two. They said, Dr. Nguyen, are you ready? I think, show me what you got. I said, you're not quite ready yet, sir. Not yet.
That's
Year
crazy.
two, year
And you know
three.
what's funny? Shout out to Barty because we talked to them early too, like
Mhm.
when they were first starting up and kind of just wanted to get what they do out there. People were starting to learn about them.
Yep.
So I don't know where I'm going with this statement, but shout out to Barty, I guess.
So, I
That's
mean,
cool.
third year, I say, where are you at? They're like, here. I'm
Yeah.
like, you're so close. You just need like this one other thing. They're like, well, just get started and we'll make it work. We'll promise you I'll be there by next month. I'm like, you sure? Cause I don't want to sign on and then I don't like what I'm seeing. They're like, no, we promise you. And they delivered. So by the third year, I said yes, but it took me 3 years before I say yes. So that's just the type of person I am. I'm not going to say yes to everybody. I can name other brands that have asked me over and over, and I still haven't said yes. So again, unless you have a product that I can firmly stand behind and say, hey, colleagues, this is great. Because that's who I am. I like to share what works. So I'm not going to share something that isn't working, put my name behind it. They're going to go back and say, oh, Dr. Nguyen put her name behind this product and it's crap. I don't want that. I want them to say, no, it's legit. What she said works. And so the people come to me. They go, when they need stuff, they go, hey, I know Dr. Nguyen knows a lot of stuff. We're going to reach out to her and see who she knows. And pretty much if I can't get you in touch with the CEO or somebody pretty far up there, that chain, then I can find somebody who can. So that's kind of like how you build connections over time. Like I don't connect with people and say, hey, what is your title in the business? That's just not me. I treat everybody like a patient. You're my patient. I don't care what your title is. I'm just going to help solve your dilemma coming in. So that's how I connect with people on social media. I don't look at their title. So when I meet people for the first time, let's say I meet the CEO of Clear Vision. I didn't know David was, the CEO. I just came out and said, hey, I'm supposed to meet David. Can you bring him out? They're like, David who? We have a lot of David here. I say, well, David, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh, that's our CEO. Hang on a second. Next thing you know, I'm like, you're the CEO? I didn't know this whole time you were the CEO. He's like, yeah. So it's just kind of neat when you don't judge people or put a title behind their name and you just treat them as a person. And then when you put the two together, when you meet at a trade show, it just builds that relationship even more. So I think that's really amazing that, that I could tell people, yeah, I know the CEO of so-and-so. I can get you guys connected. They're like, really? I don't have to jump through like XYZ to get to the CEO. I was like, no, I have him on my phone book. I could just do a, do a quick setup of it. That'd be okay. They're like, yeah, cool. So I think that's kind of like where we need to approach LinkedIn. It's a very great place to just connect with people. If you want to build a relationship, you can look at what they're putting out, start commenting, start chatting with them in the comments, reference things back to them if it connects them somehow, because again, they will remember this. So if you do it enough time, people will remember you. But again, one comment here and there may not get their notice, but if you consistently comment on their post, they're going to be like, hey, who is this person? I want to get them to know them better. And the next thing you know, they're going to be following your posts, commenting back on your things, and then maybe reaching out to you. They have an opportunity that, you guys can collaborate with.
What are your demographics, Dr. Nguyen? Do you know like what the age range is for your LinkedIn profiles or anything? If you had to guess, like what?
Well, they're all professionals. I would have to say I would say 40s and 50s is the bulk of the people that I'm connected to. And then you have your the outliers of the really, really young, but usually the really young isn't on LinkedIn. I really don't have that many people under 30s on LinkedIn that I'm connected to. Pretty much everybody is mid 30s, older, even probably in their 70s. So even people who are retired are still using LinkedIn.
Right. So what do you think? Because we're trying to represent this younger new generation of young optometrists, right? So what is your advice? Like, if you could just, as our last questions to wrap up, like, how can we get a younger generation of ODs on LinkedIn, and what are your thoughts and pearls on that?
Well, lead by example. You guys can show up on there, get your followers to hop on over there to do some live events. You can do live events on there as well. Get engagements that way. Start connecting with other doctors in your age range, because there are students who are graduating. There are residents up on there, but they're not interacting. Show them that they can interact on there. Get them to interact. Tag them on posts so that they can interact. So you have to start with your generation. For the younger generations, I can't get them to start because they're barely posting. I can't even get the older docs to start because they're even on there. They're too busy running the practice. And that's kind of the thing. I try to get our colleagues to see that, you can use social media to grow your practice, but you just have to be present on there. You don't always have to be there. You can delegate this task to other people, but they're not even showing up at all. So I'm like, well, you can only share so much wisdom, but if people can't implement on it, it's only, you can't do anything else beyond that. But you guys, as your group at this millennial, you guys can start on LinkedIn, start tagging people, invite your audience from other platforms that show up on there to support you and to show some love. And that's how you can grow.
Well, thank you so much. We are going to go work on our LinkedIn's, I think, right now.
I mean, you
No,
guys
I
have
think that
4 people. You can split that into like, okay, you're in charge on this day, and then we can do a collaborative on this other day. So again, it literally you have so much help. I'm but one person. That's why I post whenever I have time.
no, we love.
Doc, where can we find you? Like, where are you at? Like, so the people know.
Well, on LinkedIn for sure, just
But
under
like,
Dr.
what
Kristie Nguyen.
city? Where are
Yeah,
you at?
I'm in Orlando, Florida. So I practice in Winter Park, which is just right outside of Orlando. But I am here in sunny Florida. People can come see me as patients. I've had just recently somebody who I met on LinkedIn through a mutual connection fly all the way from Arizona to come see me for his eye exam because he didn't like his exam last year. So I saw him 3 years ago. I told him he could just take my script to go see a doctor locally in Arizona who could tweak his script. He's like, that doctor didn't do such a good job. So he flew back this year to come see me. So, I mean, hey, if you can build that on LinkedIn, that's power right there. So I tell people all the time, I wish you were my doctor. I was like, I'm only a flight away. Make a vacation out of it. Let's come on over and I can check your eyes. So why
That's
not?
good.
Come sing
Why
Magic
Yeah.
not?
Kingdom. Come see
Right?
Dr. Nguyen. You know, you can do it
Exactly.
all.
Exactly. So why not pull patients from other states?
That is power, and that's why we're so thankful. Like as younger ODs here, that you give us this information, and so we can learn how to use LinkedIn more often. And there were some great takeaways with being genuine with your posts, not feeling like you have to schedule everything ahead of time.
And don't be scared. Just post
Don't be scared, being consistent, right? Like you're
and
so
show
genuine
him.
with your posts, and it's led to so many different results, whether it's working with companies, having CEOs phone numbers. And so there's so many benefits to it. And so we're thankful for you kind of sharing that little journey and the journey you're on. So thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you for having me.
We'll have to have you
Thank you,
back.
Dr. Wynn. It
Yes.
was a
I would love to
pleasure.
come
Thank you
back.
so much.
Thank you guys.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to the Depth Perception Podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe on all of our platforms, including
Spotify,
Instagram,
Google Podcasts,
Apple Podcast.
YouTube. Make sure you click that button. Double tap that.
So you guys have no reason not to follow us and tune in to the next episode.
Stop wasting
Get
time.
in depth.
Subscribe.